Sorry. So this bill does have a committee sub. Explain a little bit about the intent of this bill. It's to address, to attempt to address the healthcare professional shortage, particularly the nurses, LPN, RN, respiratory therapists. I think all of us get emails on a weekly or daily basis, concerning the need from our hospitals and our universities as well. This will utilize ARPA funds. And as I said earlier, it does have a subcommittee. What the subcommittee addresses, in the original bill, it talked about allied health professionals. What it really goes back and addresses is respiratory therapists. So what we're really talking about here is RNs, LPNs, and respiratory therapists. So it creates a loan repayment program that provides awards for the RN, the LPN, the respiratory therapist. It requires the applicant towards the residents of the state, and they must gain recent employment for the first time as a licensed practical nurse or registered nurse or respiratory therapist at a general acute care hospital in the state and have outstanding educational loans. That is the qualifications that would apply for this particular reimbursement. The recipients will be selected on a first come, first serve. And that would be the state financial aid board will be the one that will be handling those applicants and doing the payment. To give you an idea, the subsequent years, there's 150 new registered nurse applicants, 50 new licensed registered practical nurse applicants, and 25 respiratory therapists that would be eligible to receive the funds. Those recipients would be at a maximum receipt of $3,000 for each year of employment up to 3 years. The awards will be granted on a year-to-year basis. The board requires the bill requires the board to report to the Joint Legislative Budget Committee by October 1 of each year regarding the number of submitted applications and the amount of grant funds awarded to each applicant. The reason we would be doing that is so that we are reporting that in since this is associated with the ARPA funds. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is essentially what we did. Like, this works the same way as the program we passed last year for teachers.
Yes.
Transitioned from a program that is currently not being funded to a loan repayment program that we hope will be funded just for the profession.
Correct. Okay. Right. Works the same way. We actually use that as a model.
Thank you.
If no other questions, do I hear a motion? All in favor? Any opposed? Bill will be reported out. Committee. Oh, yes. Committee sub. All right, we'll move to Senate Bill 2425. This provides a limitation on the salary of the state superintendent of public education. It also provides a limitation on the salary for the commissioner of higher education and also a limitation on the executive director of community colleges. One of the things that I will comment about this bill is, as we just said, it limits those salaries. The commissioner, the executive director, the board to $250,000. These individuals may continue to receive their salary. It does have a committee sub, and in that committee sub, that amendment, it reflects that all of those individuals that are currently employed would retain their salaries as it was effective at the on their hire date. So what we bottom line here is we've made a promise to those individuals in those positions, and if the board were to reapprove those positions, it would allow those individuals' salary to remain as promised. Happy to answer any questions. Yes, Senator. Well,
Madam Chair, did I hear you say it was a committee sub?
yeah, the committee sub addresses that it would allow them to retain the salaries if the board were to reapprove. Example, the individual that's currently holding the IHL position, if the board were to appoint him, he would retain the same salary. It would not drop to the 250,000.
The reason I asked is we passed the bill on education, we're gonna have to go back to education if we amend it here and some. I support what you're trying to do. I see the bill double referred. I know what we're doing.
Right. So I do need, the approval of that amendment, but it would go back to the board. It would go back to the education board. Mhm. Committee, sorry. Okay, yeah. So I just move to adopt the amendment as described. Do I hear a motion? Yes, Senator Parker.
I do make that motion, but I have a follow-up question after the motion.
Certainly. Proceed.
The follow-up question would be, so I guess to understand exactly what you're saying here, so if we hired someone for an amount greater than that, and the next time they're up for a salary discussion at the board could then move the salary, or if we ever hired them at a salary of, say, $260,000 for as long as they continue to serve forever going forward, they would always receive the 260.
What it addresses is the current pay, I believe, is at 450,000. If that individual is approved, for that particular entity at the IHL, if the board were to approve that individual, that's his current salary, he would, and he's approved, renominated by the board, he would retain his 450,000. But let's say the board doesn't. Well, whoever the new one that would be appointed would come in at the 250 as opposed to the 450.
So it would only affect any new appointee, and any
Correct.
current appointee would not be affected
Correct.
at all by this.
Correct.
And the bill, as it came to this committee, would have changed it for someone who is currently serving.
Correct. When reappointed by the board, yes. Any other questions?
So
We're going to be on the amendment.
so,
We're going to vote on the amendment.
I would like to withdraw my amendment. Respectfully.
Okay,
I move adoption.
thank you. Can we, let's vote on the amendment at this time. All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Thank you. Now then, back on the bill. Then ask, okay, title sufficient, do pass. And then we're back, yeah, committee sub. Yes, Senator Pope.
I apologize for being late, and I haven't had a chance to look at the bill. Would the current boards be able to raise the salaries of the current directors and commissioners, or would it be stuck at that salary like that?
It would be stuck at that salary currently. Any other questions? I need a motion. Title sufficient to pass? Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Bill will be reported out. Senate Bill 2427, Accelerated Mississippi Scholarship Program. This is also one that has been double referred as well. What this bill allows, or the purpose of this bill, is to create new opportunities for Mississippi children seeking to obtain education and training. They need to be successful in life. One of the best pathways to do that is through dual credit coursework. This bill takes a step forward and providing reliability and standardized funding for dual credit courses. It also updates our enrollment process to increase access via online portal that eliminates other issues that may be incurred by the student. I'm going to take you to section 2 of the bill. But just to back up, this act would be called the Accelerate Mississippi Scholarship Program. And if we look at section 2, there's a lot of information here. So I'm going to try to take you through section by section, and happy to answer any questions that you might have as we go. Create the 3 programs: Accelerated College, Accelerated Opportunity, and Accelerated Graduation Scholarship Funds. If we look at section 3, it creates the Accelerated College Scholarship Fund under the Community College Board and to be administered by them. It would also do a reimbursement rate so that the college, they don't lose any funding, and that would be that's currently at 150 in this section for the dual credit courses. And then section 4, it creates the Accelerated Opportunity Scholarship Fund under the Community College Board, and this would also be administered by them. It has set the reimbursement rate as well in section 4 for the dual credit courses. And then in section 5, this also extends it to the career technical education workforce training as well, including that section. It's included in that section. This program is designed for grades 7 through 12. It's to encourage younger children to start their thinking process on their goals. And then section 7 through 8 provides the funding and authorizes the reruling by the Education Board. I am happy to answer any questions. I know this is a huge bill, a lot to absorb, and happy to answer questions. Yes, Senator Boyd.
How many students would this intended to allow?
I know the program, it reads 7 through 12. I have a better feel for 9 through 12 because most of the programs have been designed around 9 through 12 or 10 through 12. I think that would be somewhere around the neighborhood of 128,000 students potentially.
Okay, and the funding mechanism for this is, did I miss that?
Well, their suggestions are at $150 an hour, all the way up to $225 an hour, and that would be from that would be appropriations. That would have to be appropriated.
And do we have a total cost of this program?
I do not. I mean, just eyeballing that, you're at 40 million plus
Okay.
potentially, or greater, even greater. Since you're including 2 other grades there.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Senator Sparks.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
The it's a first come, first served basis, so there is a cap, or is that just in the short title?
That's just in the short title. I did not find anywhere where there was a cap,
Okay, so
as long as the students met the requirements.
okay, and then the community colleges overseeing it, or are they actually teaching the classes?
They are right. As I described earlier, it's very complex. There are 3 different opportunities, and the community college is teaching those and oversight of those.
Okay, and then I guess, and it may not, be fully understood yet, and I certainly don't, but the community colleges have been teaching dual credit classes for the last several years for upper level high school students
Correct.
at varying cost bases. Are we fixing that cost, or are we fixing the scholarship portion?
I want to be as transparent as I possibly can. We currently, this does not include universities. And there is a current ongoing project between the community colleges and the universities to work through a dual enrollment. And so I believe that will be presented later in the session on the appropriations. I'm very hopeful that they will be able to recognize and work together as a group, and we'll have where it does include both community colleges and universities.
Thank you.
So, any other questions? Okay. If no further questions, ask for a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those that are opposed?
No.
Bill will be reported out. Moving on to the next bill. 2690, Mississippi Intercollegiate Athletes Compensation Act, Mississippi Uniform Agents Act. If you all recall last year, we passed this bill, and I think we all knew that we would potentially have to come back and do some work on it. And so what I'm asking today is that this is simply just the code section, that we bring this code section forward. We continue to monitor all the other states and what they're doing, because they're all reevaluating their programs currently. And we would just like to keep it moving forward until we have all that information and can come back and make the updates and corrections that we need to make.
Time sufficient to pass.
Thank you, Senator Parker. All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Bill will be reported out. Moving on to Senate Bill 2698, Institution of Higher Learning Authorized Recognition Long-Term Lease of Property administered by the State Port Authority. What this bill does, it authorizes the Board of Trustees of the State Institution of Higher Learning, acting through the University of Southern Mississippi, to lease and sublease property administered by the Mississippi State Port Authority at Gulfport. And what this is truly, it's for one, it's specific to Southern. It is specific to the port and the facility that they have there and that they lease. So I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. If no questions, thank you, Senator Pope. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Bill will be reported out. Moving to Senate Bill 2700. This is University Construction Projects, Suspend Repealer on authority of IHL Board of Administrators.
Time sufficient to pass.
All in favor? Any opposed? Bill will be reported out. Senate Bill 2893, Jackson State University authorized public-private partnership to develop property owned by foundation. At this time, I'm going to ask Senator Horn to explain the bill.
Madam Chair, in 2016, Senate Bill 2629 allowed Jackson State University to be able to enter into a public-private partnership for some housing development on land that was foundation on about 30 acres that's on the northwest perimeter of the university. Right about around the same time, it was revealed that the university had a debt crisis, and that started a public-private partnership at the time. The university is, of course, on the new leadership now. It's going to be doing well, and house issue, however, has deteriorated. Some kids from food. The president is interested in reinvigorating the effort to do this public-private partnership. Young users of children before you say is that since that time, they have acquired additional parcels of land that they would like to incorporate into the public-private partnership for housing and mixed-use development. That's the explanation of the bill before you Madam Chair. Answer your questions.
Anyone have any questions? Do I hear a motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Bill will be reported out. Thank you, guys. I know that you're running from one place to the other.
Madam Chair, can you have a meeting again before Tuesday?
I do not. Motion, rise and report. You're welcome.
Yeah, so now we have to get back.
That goes back to education. Thank you.